mid-morning show on WAVE91.7FM, your everything on PlayStation. My name is Adekunle Adejumo, and just as we stick to the tradition of reflecting, we have some very interesting reflections this morning to take a look at. And the first is about a defected governor, and maybe with a little bit of a defect, right? Now, here's the thing. Abba Yusuf has decided to pick his son-in-law as the deputy governor. So the governor of Kano State, Governor Abba Yusuf, has decided to transmit the name of Mutala Sule Garo to the State House of Assembly for screening and confirmation as deputy governor. And the nominee is the son-in-law of Atiku Abubakar, former vice president. Now, it may be interesting to know that that position actually became vacant after Aminu Waziri resigned as the deputy governor sometime in the month of March 27th. And he actually, switched political grounds, so to speak. But here's the thing. One of the very disturbing and emblems that Nigerian politics has is a detailed act of recycling from the National Assembly to the various positions that you can think of. They just tend to recycle people, not because of their level of competence, but because they can reach certain compromise. That's just what it is. And it's unfortunate for our politics, despite how we call it nascent. Unfortunately, it is not growing. Well, should I say I wish Abba Yusuf well? Maybe. Now, let's go over to Imo State. In Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma has actually unveiled the Digital Center Limited, and it's actually a world-class facility that is meant to skill up Imo indigenes and maybe others. However, I can remember about 2 years ago when I worked closely with Barrister Chimezie, one of those who were actually involved with Skill Up Imo program. And one of the things I mentioned to him was if the Skill Up Imo program would actually be something that ought to survive, then it ought to have a building of its own beyond supplying of electronic gadgets like laptop and the others to the graduates of the same program, and maybe promising them 1,000 jobs in Europe. Of course, that one would not work. However, the unveiling of this said facility is actually a brilliant move, and to Governor Hope Uzodinma, kudos to you for actually seeing it through. But it's also important that it should be treated as a project that would not go down easily. Maybe partner with people who can actually drive it and sustain it. Because if care is not taken, if it goes the way the usual government facilities would, someday it will sink below the belt. Well, I wish Imo people, or Imo lighter they will say, I wish them well, and congratulations to them once more. That would be about it on the reflections this morning, giving Rivers State a break. Yes. And remember, the reflections are not up for conversation.